YouTube. Hello, YouTube.
Hello.
Yeah, this fascinating bit at the beginning that you all love to hear.
We do a lot of swearing usually at this point.
Should we try and do an episode without swearing?
Fuck that.
Shut up, Craig.
No,
That was like,
that was going to
so
last.
obviously going to be the response.
Yeah,
Right.
He's looking at himself at the thought of it. It's like shaking.
Did you see my haul from B&M today?
Oh,
Yeah.
did I? And the
And was
book,
that
your
set you
birthday
back?
present, Cliff?
Is that like 50
Yeah.
quid's worth there?
Yeah, 50 quid haul. I just
Holy
was like,
shit balls.
B&M, just, do you want to take any more of my money? I couldn't help it. I really want, because I've not seen the first Doctor TARDIS one or the giant robot Tom Baker one. So I was like, I have to have them when I saw them a month ago. And I thought, York, it's bigger, so they'll have more, but they didn't. So that's why I went back to Northallerton to. Then like Centre Rights was only a £5. So I was like, and then the other one was £8. So I was like, I might as well.
Oh, that's a bargain then.
Was there quite a few of the giant robots? Because I quite like one of them.
There was a couple more left, Craig, but I got the last Hartnell with his TARDIS.
It's the giant robot I've got a bit of a fixation with.
No, it was fucking. I can get you it next time in Northallerton if you want.
Well, I might try to Whitby tomorrow, but if not, I'll message you.
Yeah, let me know.
Because B&M in Whitby might sell them.
Yeah, pick it up when I'm through. What did
Wait,
get?
you don't go to B&M.
You're not fucking weird.
You're more of a Waitrose man.
Me?
John Lewis.
I say John is.
He's an M&S guy.
M&S. More S&M.
When did I saw them? What, about 2 or 3 weeks ago, didn't I? And I have not.
Yeah.
I can't let it lie. I had to go. I knew I'd have to go and get them eventually because I'm an addict, aren't I? So it was fucking savage. Have you got some chips? Did you say?
Yeah, I got the Keys of Marinus. But it's the
Yeah,
last
I got
one
that.
there.
Oh no,
Did you
that's the
get
only one.
that?
That's the only one I didn't get. I'm going to get
Yeah.
that when it hopefully comes down in price, maybe.
Cost me 13 quid, I think, at the time.
Yeah. Well, happy birthday as well, Shep.
Absolutely.
Happy birthday.
Cool.
And for
Oh,
tomorrow as well, John.
Happy
birthday.
birthday. Saturday for me, but yeah.
Happy birthday,
problem.
Sucky, for the day. Did you get it for your birthday? What's that you've got there? Which one?
That's a Brigadier unit, 1971. So it's
Nice.
Brigadier Sergeant Benson and Captain Yates.
It's not an
That's-
around the console unless Suki's showing some shit off that he's got himself.
What's that one there? Is that
That's
Romanas?
Sarah Jane and the two Romanas.
Oh, Sarah Jane would have been good.
And that one's Yaz, Ryan, and a Jadoon.
Why have you not unboxed them?
Because I
Worth
bought
when it
them a
comes to
while
selling.
ago and I've just left them down here. And I've just
Because they come with nice little
Not even
display
taking
things
out
in the
the bag.
background. They come with nice little display things in the background, you see, so you can take them out and use it as like a bit of a display.
have you seen my shelves? I don't think I'll be able to
Goodness.
display them much.
Action figure envy.
I've got
Apart from the Liverpool flag.
I've got a glass
Which is
cabinet
priority.
ready for 'em to insert to go along with my Star Trek ships that I've got. I'm a fucking
Holy shit.
nerd.
I never saw your Star Trek ships when I was there.
Yeah, because they're in the boxes currently waiting to go into the display cabinet.
Why weren't they in the display cabinet? Why were they still in the boxes, Bob?
Moving house,
Yeah,
innit?
call yourself a fan.
Yeah.
Moving house, innit?
Fat.
You should be out polishing them and like giving them little
Polish.
massages and things.
Yeah, I've got enough to be polishing, Craig. Anyway, we're doing a podcast, aren't we? Let's do the audio.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
welcome YouTube for that amazing, informative section that we call Boys and Toys. Right, okay, let's do this. Hello and welcome to Around the Console, a Doctor Who review podcast. Everyone knows, I say everyone, a TARDIS console has 6 sides, but we invite you, dear listener, to be a member of the crew. I'm Bob, and joining me are John, Sucky, Craig, and Cliff. On this episode, we are putting Around the Console for review, the latest Doctor Who episode, Legend of the Sea Devils. Now I'll just come around to get a vibe. Sucky, because you're looking like you.
No, I was just going to mention that's how you host an episode.
That is-
Well
that
done.
is-
Yeah,
that
yeah.
is
That was
good.
Unlike-
just genius,
Look,
actually.
me last week.
On
last
me.
fortnight.
On me last time.
Yeah, everyone's a
that-
great host. Everyone is a great host. It's just saying words, in it, in a sort of order.
I get confused with them.
What words?
Yeah.
What order?
In any order.
I get confused with order and words. I hate order.
Do you remember the
Sucky,
first time I hosted it, yours, Bob? All that time ago, and I came around, it was literally all written out bit by bit, what I said before a song, what I said afterwards. And your words were, Craig, just relax and ditch that.
yeah, and we had a lot of wine. It was great.
I would never drink wine.
Yeah, it was cool that when he used to come around that. And
I loved it.
Got
Absolutely
pissed.
loved it.
Yeah. Then you drive home. What? So Suki, so
Oh
Suki,
my
what did you
God.
think of this little tidbit of Doctor Who? New Who? Was it floated your boat?
So my initial watch of it was disappointed. I'm going to say it was very, very disappointing. There was a lot of stuff that I just thought didn't make sense, and it didn't seem to gel, and I was a bit confused. Now, and it's taken me a few days to rewatch it, and I've only decided to rewatch it today for the podcast, basically. And it has got better. It's a better rewatch than I have from the first time watching it. It's some things make more sense, and I understand some of the motivation. So yeah, I'd say it's still a middling episode. It's still poor to a middling episode, but it's not great.
Fair enough. Fair enough. Cliff.
I was on mute then.
What were you doing? Like to be on mute? Were you?
I was on a birthday wank. Quickly, get one out.
It's your birthday. You deserve it, don't you?
I mean, my birthday wanks are usually very quiet. I appreciate that one. Yeah.
Got to let it all out, John. I think on your birthday. Really aggressive and loud. Cliff, what did you think of that in between?
I have to say it's very similar to Suki. Watched it first time and I was quite disappointed. I like the swashbuckler element to it. That's what I was looking forward to. I felt the story could have been pigeonholed at any time over the last 3 years. They had no reflection of what's just gone on. Nothing brought back what happened in the flux, which was so huge. It did touch on that in the New Year's Eve one, which was good. But still a little bit depressed. It just didn't feel great to me. It was just like,
All right,
yeah, I know, right.
Fair enough. Craig.
Well, I must admit, not really enjoyed this. I enjoyed this. I can see exactly what Suki and Cliff are saying. It wasn't the best Doctor Who, but it was a long way for me from the worst. It was just good to average Doctor Who. It kind of didn't fit as for me a penultimate episode of a Doctor's tenure. It didn't seem to take you anywhere with that little kind of tease at the end wasn't big and dramatic. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed when I watched it the first time. I enjoyed it just as much when I watched it the second time. I was a bit shocked by all the strong negativity about it, although I do tend to hear that when people watch it again, they enjoy it more. But yeah, I just thought it was a typical kind of good episode of Doctor Who. The Sea Devils were fair enough, but as for the Doctor and Yaz, I'll come on to that when we go a bit more in depth.
Yeah, cool. John.
Felt like filler to me, which is weird to have a filler episode of something that is only on like twice a year. You really ought to try harder. It was an editorial nightmare. It didn't have much fucking structure. The story was naff. There was, like you say, there was no reference to previous Doctor Who. And the Yaz and Doctor Who moment was really just tagged on because that's what had happened in the Flux thing. And it was a bit of a mess, all in all. I didn't enjoy watching it much at all, to be honest.
Fair enough. Yeah, middle of the road for me. It was all right. I think I've and I think this applies to the Flux. The Flux should have been 8 episodes, I think. And they try and explain things to work that out. So like with this could have been easy an hour and 20 minutes, and you could have seen some stuff that they just blurt out and explain. And I'm not taking credit for this comment because it was one that John said was when people are jumping off a ship. The Doctor then says they're jumping off a ship. Why do you need to explain what's happening? As in, you can see it. And I think there's a lot of stuff that's been happening, particularly in these last 2 episodes of Doctor Who, and maybe in the Whittaker era a little bit. And I'd like to think it's because they've had time shortened of what they're wanting to do, and they're getting a lot of exposition in. But when you've got something blatantly in front of you happening, and they have to tell you, that's a bit jarring, you know. And I think that's I thought it was fun. I sort of half enjoyed it. It was all right, and I thought there was elements which were brilliant. Like I thought the Sea Devils looked amazing. That's the first very positive thing I'll say about it. And I thought the costumes were cool. I mean, Dan was just fucking stupid and absolutely pointless.
Time.
Yeah,
Even
pointless.
written him out of it, half of it.
Yeah.
And yeah, it wasn't funny. It was wearing a pirate costume or anything. I just was.
I didn't
Yeah.
think that was funny.
No,
I didn't think so.
and there was no laugh out loud moments or anything in it either. But like I say, the Sea Devils look cool. The CGI was a bit.
That was a laugh out
ropey.
loud moment. Was the CGI? I reckon.
Yeah.
That's a
Yeah.
fair point. But some of it looked magical as well. Like some of it did look quite cool. I like
In
the
a sort
blue.
of 2005 CGI used in a game on an Xbox. Yeah.
Are we saying it's
But-
looking dated? Then because I thought it was good. I mean, but this is quite interesting to overhear you guys say it was dated.
What telly did you all watch it on? Did you? I've got a massive 4K TV. That I watched it.
You don't tell us about that often enough, Bob.
But the problem is, it shows up stuff, doesn't it? Like I do have a little TV that I watch my Blu-rays and my DVDs on sometimes, and it's kind of fun. It can get away with a lot more. But when you're watching it, there's no room for thing. I remember watching the Capaldi episode, the one with when they go back to the Thames and it's all iced over.
Oh yeah, the Victorian one where
so I watched it at my mate's house, and and it was my first experience with 4K and all that kind of stuff, and it looked fucking terrible. But then I watched it on my normal HD TV, after that, and it looked absolutely fine.
Yeah,
so it kind of shows up a lot.
It does, but that's no excuse. This is
I know.
This isn't just an independent broadcast of someone's put together. If anything, BBC's always championed HD and always championed, for people to go to 4K, etc. Because we pay the bloody license, don't we? So we all want the decent TVs. So they should have made it to the best of their abilities for everybody to see. There's so much out there. There's so many channels now. On the use of CGI in this, it just felt like very amateurish. It just felt very like they got some grad in the BBC to do it. And
I think that was a lot of it was filler. I thought all the CGI was just a way to pad.
Yeah.
is that like the Merca replacement? Because I didn't
Merkin replacement.
Merca, because I don't know what it's called. I didn't write it down. I probably didn't. Yeah, that. I mean, I liked it, but it did just feel CGI kind of. Let's build it in there. There was no tension that came from it or anything like that. There was no build-up of threat anywhere. So yeah, I can see what you're saying about the filler side.
I think the issue with this episode is not so much about the surface stuff like that. Like the CGI was pretty rubbish. I've never seen stone skipping look like that ever. That was like the worst CGI bit. That was terrible. But the thing that really makes this episode disappointing for me is the editing and the pacing and the exposition heavy elements to it. That just, it was a car crash of a story. It didn't really work as a story. It was full of like idiotic ideas, and it was disappointing that, like I say, like something that is like twice a year you're getting a Doctor Who right now, and this is the standard of it when you get it. There's either very little money spent on this, or Chibnall's just fuck it and just put it out.
I don't think Chibnall.
I don't think he was like that as well, but it just seems like it.
I think there's a bit of BBC doing that now. They've flogged it. As in they've sold it to Sony or whatever, this Bad Wolf thing. It's probably the BBC going, do you know what, have fucking less money and you can have less time. Bye.
Didn't they give him just a week to write this? Or
no, that was Eva the Daleks. That was
Eva the Daleks.
Which you can kind of tell. I need to rewatch Eva the Daleks, but it was very similar to that.
I
for
like
me.
that.
It's fine. It's all right. Tucky, you've had your hand raised for a little while.
Yeah. The thing with this story, if you read some of the background information on it, this is one of these late requests from the BBC to put in an extra episode. So what they've probably done here, because this is co-written by Ella Road, is they've taken a storyline that was probably earmarked for Flux, which wasn't working within Flux, and then made a special on it. Now, this special should have been a special. It should have been something that highlights the wonder and the absolute greatness of Doctor Who in the way that it tells stories, brings out classic monsters, and the Doctor just being awesome. It just didn't work. I don't know why, but I think it also has something to do, with the length of the episode as well. It's a 47-minute episode, and it's one of the shortest specials that you've ever. It is the shortest special ever. Whether there was scenes that have been deleted after they've filmed it, or they've just not filmed them when they're pre-production, just took jettison them there.
I mean, that explains the editing calamity that I felt. Yeah.
Yeah. It's
What was wrong with the editing, John? Just the way it jumped around from location to location.
The story made very little sense. It didn't feel like it was a cohesive tale. It felt like they're just like, oh, we've got a set scene here, we'll do that there. And then there's like, well, why was that sea creature as a statue and all that bullshit?
Yeah, I get
he's
that.
got a magical fucking amulet that he's, no, that's just good, wasn't even thought of. I imagine they filmed other parts to that.
Yeah.
And then they said, no, you haven't got an hour and 10 minutes. You've got 47 minutes. Chop 25 minutes out of it.
That's what I think.
And that is just like, it shows. It's not, I'm not criticizing the actual production and editing of it. I'm criticizing the fact that it was, as a concept, it didn't fit right because it wasn't managed properly. They didn't say, right, you've got 50 minutes, make it tight 50 minutes.
Yeah.
They said, they obviously recorded about an hour and 20, thought, oh, we don't need that. Fuck it, doesn't matter. That massive sea creature, fuck it, nobody will care about it at the end.
Yeah.
Stuff like that.
Yeah, Craig?
Yeah, I get what John's saying completely here. Because if you actually, for me, the story, because I keep hearing the story doesn't make sense. For me, the story did make sense. And I thought it was actually a really creative story. The Doctor hops back in time to try and bribe or get something the Sea Devils want. But yeah, you really did have to kind of focus on it, a bit like Flux, but not as complicated, to see what was happening. It didn't flow naturally. It felt jarred. For me, the story was quite creative. But and listening to John there, I get that's what it was. It was just, there wasn't enough time to explain what was going. It was literally just leap, 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 with no tension, no development, no characterization. You didn't feel for anything. And I'd not really thought that this had been initially longer. It just felt deliberately packed in to kind of keep the pace going almost, because they were just trying to keep almost like a bit of a blockbuster feel. But yeah, it would have been so much better with the development that John was talking about then, definitely.
Thing is, when we are watching Doctor Who from all the years, CGI, the actual effects, there's never been one what we all look into, because we know they ain't got the budget for it, but we always count that it's going to be a decent story for us to watch, and that's what's the most important thing is that it's the story.
Yeah,
but this story had so little in reflection of what's just happened in the last year, and it felt like half a big Finnish story with just
let's talk about the story
all the way through it.
Let's break it down, right? Okay, so the Sea Devils want to fill the Earth, so they use some magnetic force to make the Earth just the sea, so they can reclaim it. Is that correct?
That's not how physics works, but go.
Yeah,
but that's kind of the idea.
To, swap the magnetic poles around.
So they've got Doctor's got to get some treasure or something to give to him to help. Just explain it to me, because I kind of didn't.
No, I don't know.
The treasure was something to get Madam Ching, a wasted character, basically. Yeah. She was wasted, right? A character that
she didn't look that drunk.
But she wasn't utilized as well as she could have been within this story. But she had to get some ransom money, ransom jewelry, whatever you'd like to call it, and she decided to get the Flor Delamar lost ship and get the treasure that was on there to be able to pay for the ransom for her crew. That's the whole thing with that treasure thing. Yeah, the Sea Devils wanted to flood the Earth and use this magic gemstone that they've got, which has been lost for 200 odd years. Why the hell, if you've lost your Sea Devil leader in 1533, and then nobody else from the Sea Devil colony that's living under the sea takes charge and decides, I will implement whatever the Sea Devil my leader was doing. I'll take over and I'll try and do what they want. Instead of, it seems to be they've just forgot about it for 274 years.
You're looking for logic within a story.
I'm not. Did they go into hibernation? They did, didn't they?
They probably.
And then the kind of the smashing of the statue brought them back, which is how the boat arrived.
Yes,
which
floated in a while. So the treasure, right? That was in. So it was in 1600 or whatever. The actuals
1533.
No, but the later bit, it's like 18
also.
with the lady in 1500s. The fella.
Yeah.
Yeah.
who he's the one that's on his ship or something, this treasure.
Yeah.
Yes.
And that goes down, the Doctor goes back to find it, to bring it forward or whatever. And the Sea Devils are making the Earth. I like the concept of the Sea Devils. And again, it's like the Sea Devils making the Earth, getting rid of all the Earthlings and all that kind of stuff. That's quite a cool idea. It's just kind of like, well, let's make them pirates and all that. It's just a bit weird.
I think that the pitch was just, we want Sea Devils and we want a pirate adventure in the 19th century China.
Yeah.
I totally agree.
And then all the rest of it is just, fuck it, we'll just stick something in there.
Yeah. Because
to give us that place to sort of have that little fantasy of having basically Pirates of the Caribbean.
Yeah. It was almost like
Doctor
like you said, a swashbuckling sea adventure. Which body can we put with it? The Sea Devils, because they're the connection. Everyone will love it, and it'll be a viewing puller in kind of thing. It didn't quite work.
And why was it? So the Sea Devils had gone back to the 1500s to get this jewel off the ship, and that's why this captain guy was getting rid of all the people off his ship.
No,
right?
he was in 1533.
Yeah,
the captain Ji Hun, right? Captain made a deal to save his crew. So by forcing them off the ship, says you can't kill my crew. I will do whatever you want. But at the same time, he also double crossed them because he gave the jewel that he was looking for to his second in command.
Why was he making his crew jump off the ship if he was trying to save
I didn't
them?
understand that. I kind of was there a hidden boat out there? I didn't get that. That made no sense.
I think it's to save him so they didn't get killed by the Sea Devils. I'm presuming.
But
the Sea Devils
drown in the sea.
Yeah,
yeah.
I think he just thought it was going to be certain death for them to stay on the boat, give them their chance off the boat. Just let them
go. In the middle of the ocean.
And why did the Sea Devils want this jewel? Is that to help them make the world turn to
That's part of their computery gadget, wasn't it? Needed.
I thought the Sea Devils had persuaded or at least convinced Ji Hun to throw his crew off the ship because he was being mind controlled or something like that.
I didn't get that.
I didn't get that myself. But
yeah,
I didn't get that until now. But yeah, that might have been the case.
No, because he kind of gave the impression, the Doctor gave the impression as well, didn't she, that he was saving them. At least he thought he was. Because I was at one point looking, if I'd made second time I watched it, I was looking, see if there's any kind of evidence of like little getaway boats, but there wasn't. It was just total nonsense, that bit.
I think it. Sorry, John.
No, go on.
I was just thinking, I was going to step in then that if you take a step back into them introducing the character of, the Madam Ching, she's got such a wealth of history which they could have used with the Sea Devil. She could have gone back in time to the time when she was having a battle.
Yeah.
You read about her with the Portuguese or anything like that. And then added in a Sea Devil element. She was just plonked in it and had no reference to her actual historical. Like Doctor Who's always been one where you should border a bit of history, but all it did is give the title of the name and not really explain the historical fact of what she was like. A prominent pirate who was also a woman. That's all it was. It was just like stick her there.
There was nothing in there to actually suggest she was a real character.
No, I only after my looking myself afterwards, I was thinking, oh, this is interesting.
Yeah.
But they should have introduced that, especially a special is supposed to capture newer viewers a lot of the time because it's like, oh, I'll watch this. This was just turn people off.
It's literally, I think Flux did turn people off, and I think it's just disappearing.
And we've got another example of the Doctor. So, oh no, we've got this thing happening where we have to save everybody, but we can't stay or we'll die. Yeah. And then somebody conveniently turns up who will accept the sacrifice and do it. She goes, cool.
But that does happen in Doctor Who, doesn't it? Though that's not.
And the whole Di and Dan phone call that seemed like tagged on the end.
Well, it was.
The whole Yaz and the Doctor bit tagged onto the end.
Yeah.
It didn't feel cohesive.
No,
I mean, and it does. I think the thing for me is just thinking about this as a. Well, I am a massive Doctor Who fan. I love Doctor Who, and I've loved Doctor Who since I can remember. But I think when you've got something so special to Doctor Who fans as the Sea Devils, and it is a special, and it's very limited what we're getting this year. It's already up there, isn't it, for being something that you're incredibly excited about. It's not just the Daleks or whatever, because it's not whatever fucking Daleks. It's the Sea Devils, and it's very special. and they did look great, and I loved the way they acted and whatever else they did.
Yeah.
But it's kind of like it just wasn't, and it was fine, but it wasn't enough to satisfy the appetite of something that
It was
could
a
have been.
letdown. I think,
Yeah,
wasn't it?
and I think it's hyped up so much because of the elements, and you don't get that it's maybe disappointing people quite a lot.
What was always missing in the Sea Devils episodes from the 70s, 60s and that was the fact that BBC could never afford enough people. And we never got that like big troop of Sea Devils what we wanted to see when they're coming out of the water.
Yeah.
They could have done that this time. They had a chance. They could have shown a shitload of them and used the CGI there cleverly. And everyone would have gone, that's what was missing. And all the others.
Yeah,
But they
you had
didn't.
one scene where you had as Cliff says, a shitload of Sea Devils standing there listening to their leader. And then there's another little scene where you see the Sea Devils climbing up the side. But then after that, what happened in the battle sequences? There must have been loads of Sea Devils. But you got Madam Ching, Ji-sun, the son, the one that got killed, and Dan, all flipping fighting away, and Yaz all fighting away. But there didn't seem to be that many Sea Devils. I understand it's
it was very unconvincing. Where did you get those swashbuckling? Guys, I've got to disappear, I'm afraid.
Oh,
so
yes,
I'm
you
going
do. Craig, have you got any final quick thoughts and 2 words for us?
As the most positive one.
Devilishly delightful, but it's feeling a bit positive now. So I want to go with devilishly something more mediocre. Devilishly mediocre. That's what I'll go with.
Thank you very much, Craig.
Okay, take care, boys. Happy birthday.
Bye. Bye. Cool. So yeah.
Right, can we bitch about Craig now?
He's gone. He's gone. That's it. There he is. Bye, Craig. So yeah, I'll do a quick whip round and see if we've got much left in this, because I struggle with things that I just find fine. So I'll come round and we'll start with you, Suki, for anything that you wanna lob at us.
Yeah, well, okay. I understand we're really being quite negative about it, but there's a couple of elements I quite enjoyed about it, which I quite like the idea of that ship, the floating ship with the whatever they got on the side of it. Might not have been used on the screen. CGI might not have been up to scratch in certain places, but the fact that you got this really spooky flying ship, I quite liked that going around there. After that, there isn't that much. I mean, the Yaz and Doctor scenes that were at the end of this, I understand it's what she's trying to say, that she's going to be living forever, and all she's going to see is Yaz basically grow old and die, and then she'll only be there for a little bit. I don't want to see that, Cliff. Not with them pair. But Cliff being rude for the YouTubers. But yeah, so I understand that scene, and it's been done better, I think, in other episodes. I think there's a Matt Smith's done it once, and so was David Tennant, about growing old with somebody who's they know they're going to end up being they end up going to die. Basically,
do you think that's because they're wanting to do a reset now that they're changing showrunner?
Good idea.
And they couldn't really. That was if Chibnall had carried this on for next season, that might have gone somewhere. But now that they're not, they're just having to put a line under it, which is what they've done.
Yeah, I think you need to have, when a new show is coming in, you need that sort of fresh start.
Yeah.
And I don't think it'll be that never happened, the Timeless Child thing and whatever else, because to me that's a brilliant added mythology to Doctor Who. I think it's fantastic.
Yeah,
I mean, it's something that they probably won't draw on all the time or anything like that. They're trying to make it probably fun and off you go kind of thing. But I don't think they'll deny it or whatever. I just don't think it'll play a prominent part whatsoever. It might come back in 2 or 3 years' time or whatever it may be, and that's fine.
It'll be a passing reference when in a conversation with the Dalek or something in the future.
Yeah. I don't think they'll go, no. Well, I just wanted to break the fourth wall and go, we don't like Chris Chibnall, and we want to make sure that you're all reassured by that. You won't be seeing any of this nonsense, and that all didn't happen. So there you go.
They've got a responsibility to use the canon that's provided.
Yeah, of course they have. And I think Russell T Davies will do that.
I think he will,
he's a Doctor Who fan. And it's happened. It's Doctor Who. It's part of it now. And I think that's brilliant, and the brilliant thing about Doctor Who. But it doesn't have to be mentioned; it can just, have happened, and that's fine. Yeah, is that all you've done, Suki, for your
No.
bits?
Nah.
And there's more.
There's the scene with the fisherman or fishing by himself, and then the Hushen coming and basically killing him. I thought that was well done scene. There's a lot of tension, and the way it was all done, I thought that was an excellent scene. Pity that they couldn't really carry it on with some of the other scenes later. And I like at the bottom of the ocean, the TARDIS has landed, and it's just there. She opens the doors, and then you got the TARDIS light on the top, just
that was
shining the
nice
light.
looking.
That's
That was
beautiful,
nice.
That was
Yeah.
great. That
Yeah.
was absolutely brilliant. And there's also that line there, "No ship Sherlock," which I quite enjoyed. And then basically, there's just, I've got a load of notes, and just Dan just walking, he wanders off for a swim into the boat. I don't know why he's doing that. He kills half a dozen sea devils with 2 swipes of a sword.
Yeah.
Right. The banter between him and the others is a bit stifled, stilted. He's dumb enough to believe Yaz, right, to dress up in that silly costume right at the beginning, and I don't think he's that dumb.
No, well, he has, but it's not just like what we've seen on telly. He's had 4 years stuck in that time, hasn't he, in the flux?
Yeah.
It's not like he's like brand new to all this.
Interestingly, I went on a visit to Liverpool the other day to the Liverpool Museum, where Dan is supposedly loitering about giving tours and that. And there's a whole big part of that because China's got quite a link with Liverpool's got quite a link with China around that time, the 17th century and all that sort of stuff. So he should have known.
Yeah,
that's not what you go around dressed as, but yeah, that's just the way
it was. Yeah, I'm completely agreeing with the Dan thing. It's just pointless.
And my final bit is most of the scenes with Yaz and the Doctor, which wasn't about their feelings, it was just exposition. It was just
painful.
You needed the Doctor to explain something, and she was just doing all the explaining to Yaz. And after a bit, it started to grate. I mean, other than that, yeah, there isn't much else I could say. It's just a middling episode.
Give you 2 words, then, Suki.
Well, Craig went devilishly, whatever he said. I'm just going to say devilishly disappointed.
Devilishly disappointing, devilishly mediocre. Sheps, have you got some more bits to say on your birthday?
Birthday, everybody.
Happy birthday, Sheps.
Thanks, Bill.
Happy birthday, Sheps.
Thanks, everyone. What do I have to say? Probably would have enjoyed it a few seasons ago when they was doing those, 1 episode, different story. Probably would have had a different view on it, to be honest. I think I just expected a lot more. And that's just because, number one, it's a special, and we know she's on the way out. So it was just a bit of a letdown. It wasn't totally disappointing. It wasn't dog shit. It was just over ambitious, a lot of it, and it was cut to shreds. And I think you could just feel like whoever's writing it or whoever's putting the money to it, it's just had enough.
BBC.
Felt like that. Yeah.
Yeah. Your 2 words, Sheps?
Very wet.
Very wet. Wow. John.
Well, I'll do my 2
after
words.
your birthday wank?
Yeah.
My 2 words are going to be devilishly dog shit, but there are positives, like Suki has said. I mean, I did get Talons of Wen Chiang vibes from some of it. The massive sea beast, despite the fact that it narratively disappeared halfway through the story, that was quite cool for a bit. There was some nice effects. I think the Sea Devil costuming and the voices and how they sound was really good. But it just, the whole thing let me down. So yeah, devilishly dog shit from me.
Wow. Suki, you got your hand up again.
Yeah, there's
you need to go to the toilet.
The Sea Devils voices. Did everybody get, maybe not John, but did everybody recognize the scream when
Yeah.
killed one of the Sea Devils?
That was
Sea Devil from the 70s.
And that's what they do so well. Like, I read about the story with they look fantastic. You had the little harken back to the proper sounds and things like that, which Chibnall's definitely always done with the classic monsters because they do always look great.
That can't save this episode, though. For
No,
me.
it can't. I
No.
mean, like I say, this is for me absolutely fine. It's quite a good fun episode. I definitely think it should have been longer, and I definitely think it should have had more money spent on it because you would have seen a lot of the stuff they just said, and things would have got a bit more epic. You know, the battle scenes, the swashbuckling, it was all there, just wasn't executed properly. And I think it was just. Sorry, John.
I feel like it could. That episode in itself was plucked directly from season 1 of Jodie's tenure.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah,
It
definitely.
didn't feel like it was.
Yeah.
It didn't feel like they've made any effort since then.
Yeah,
because he got better in season 2 and stuff. But this is just like plonked. As a special, it wasn't very special.
No, and I think that's the thing, isn't it? Because you're getting rations. It had the Sea Devils in, which is something that we've all wanted to see.
Everybody was mega excited about that, and it turned out really average. Because
they looked taste as well, and it had so much potential, which wasn't delivered on. And
it's a penultimate episode. This should have been a building or something. What's happening to lead you on to the next?
There is all that.
Just felt like filler.
Yeah,
but I could probably understand some of the disappointment. I mean, I'm not. Don't get me wrong. Probably a year or two ago, I'd have been fucking seething about this, but it was all right. It was fine. It was kind of a bit fun, and it's just telly, and it's Doctor Who, and that's all right. You know, it's a magical TV show. Nothing else will do what this has done on television, because Doctor Who is very different, unique, and special. But there was so much hype, and it definitely didn't deliver on that hype. So I can understand people being annoyed. But guys, it's a TV show. It doesn't really matter, does it? That's all I'll say about that. My two words are slippy, and no, I just kind of wanted to get something wet and a bit innuendo in, but it was just all right. But I'll do it like it's 2 words, you know, like
moderately moist.
Yeah, moderately moist. That'll do.
Well, that's a good word.
Yeah, moderately moist, which was a shame. But
clammy crap.
Devilishly moist.
Yeah. But yeah, so it's not bowled us over, but that's fine. But I think it's just fine, isn't it? And that's all right.
Yeah.
Well,
what
there
about
was some
trailer.
I was going to say there was something very exciting at the end, which was the trailer. How did you feel about that? I felt I'm incredibly moist over that.
Oh, I was going to say that then. Fucking hell.
I mean, the thing is, I'm excited about. I really liked the lonely Cyberman or whatever, the sort of half.
That's sad, yeah.
Yeah, and the new Cyberman looked tasty. So that's cool. Master, brilliant. I've heard a rumor about Ace, but I did not expect Tegan Javanka, and that blew my mind. That was fucking Ace. Daleks, not that bothered, to be honest. It's just fucking they have to stick
They
them
got
in,
put them in all the time, don't they?
And the bit of Geordie regenerating. I'm really excited about this. You know, it's a good hour. It's a good hour and 20, hour and a half as well. So hopefully I'll have time to really tell the story and chuck the kitchen sink out of it. And hopefully the budget they haven't spent on either the Daleks and Legend of the Sea Devils is spent on this. You know,
is it like 90% written by Chibnall and Russell TD might have had some input? Do you think?
No,
he's got no input at all. So nothing. What they do.
This is not Russell T Davis's tenure. It's Chibnall's tenure.
But it's like, remember the crossover from RTD? Then they just have you're going to be in the TARDIS and you're going on this way.
No, all they do is they write the last couple of minutes. That's how it's worked. Is like, so from the point of they regenerate, it's then over to the new showrunner or whatever.
Well, if you've been listening to some of the stuff that's been said, Russell T Davies hasn't actually written anything at all yet for the new series that he's producing. Which also means he hasn't written anything for that last bit of the special to come.
Well, no, he has.
Whether
written,
that change,
he's written stuff. He has written stuff. He's written a lot of it, but he hasn't written it specifically for a new Doctor.
He's got his sources, man.
Apparently, from what I can gather, he's written a lot of this stuff over the years. It's a lot of the Doctor Who stuff he's had, but there's just not a Doctor in mind and allocated to it, apparently. But it's all, you can't believe a word these guys say because they're great at, at sort of just leading you on and telling you the stuff that they want you to know. But that's good because it keeps us guessing and because I don't like spoilers. But it was cool. It was exciting seeing Tegan in there and whatever, and hopefully they've kept a couple of things back to surprise us.
Is that the 100th Is that going to be like for the special for
BBC? Yeah, the
Yeah.
BBC centenary. Yeah.
So there's loads of rumours as well. So like a bit of wish list of a few others popping up.
Well, we'll find out, won't we? But
Mm.
but it's cool. I was excited. We all excited by the trailer.
Very excited. Yeah, it looked good.
Look, you lot, are you fucking buzzing?
He's ecstatic.
I mean, there's. I'm just looking. I've just had a look at that trailer because somebody else did like a scene breakdown of what was actually shown in that trailer. I won't tell you much, but everybody saw Tegan and Ace in there. They've seen Kate back, Vinder and Yaz, and Dan in an orange spacesuit. So
they
they're all
killed him
back.
off in this one, to be honest.
But there was one little clip that's in that, and it's only there for less than a second. And if you paused it, you'll see it. I won't tell you, but
Not
a nipple shot.
You might as well. You've set it all up now.
no, I ain't said nothing. You guys can go look at the trailer.
Well, just tell us.
Spoiler. I'm not going to look at the fucking
Bob
trailer
just says he
again.
doesn't like spoilers.
Well, you fucking
but
just
he's-
tell us. I hate it
But
when
he's
people do
also
that, though.
telling you to tell
That's
him.
worse
so-
now.
Oh my god!
What did you see?
There's a little bit where the Dalek is being destroyed by
Whoa,
Ace
spoilers.
in her flipping costume.
Oh,
You know,
cool.
with the jacket.
Yeah,
You'll
yeah.
see
Baseball bat.
Oh, cool.
1
Well-
second of that in the whole trailer.
Say
Amazing.
that again, Suki.
Do you know Ace in her costume, the
Oh,
bomber
Ace,
jacket?
proper
Yeah.
jacket.
Right, sorry, yeah, I saw that bit. Yeah.
She destroying the Dalek.
Nice.
Awesome. Well, that's cool. So all excited. When's that? October time or something? That's out later.
October.
Yeah.
October. That's cool. That's something to look forward to.
Then we're
Next
still
time.
getting a Christmas special as well. You know.
No, not that we're
No.
aware of, and I very much doubt we will. Yeah. So that'll be hopefully coming back at some point next time. But anyway, next time we'll review Modern Undead, back to some classic. So that's us done for this review. Thank you very much for joining us. Now we're going to hear from Suki and your kids.
No, just me. Kids have not seen Sea Devils.
Have they not?
No,
They're not bothered about the new one.
we were a bit busy over the last few weeks, so
Yeah.
they never got a chance to watch it. So
Well,
I'd never asked
hopefully-
them to do the feedback.
Hopefully for the next new episode they'd be up for doing a bit again, because it's always very good to hear
Like
what
that,
young
yeah, it's
people
good.
think, rather than just old dudes like us who love a children's television program. So yeah, Suki's got a bit of feedback coming for you, and after that as well, Mark Atkinson from our old chap and friend from Proctor Who, he's sent us a bit of audio in as well. So there's some audio feedback coming up from Suki, from people, and from Mark. So yeah, until Modern Undead, it's goodbye.
Bye.
Bye.